The first reading, a reading from the Acts of the Apostles. Peter and his companions reached Caesarea the following day, and Cornelius was waiting for them. As Peter was about to go in, Cornelius met him, fell at his feet, and bowed down before him. But Peter made him rise. "Stand up," he said. "I myself am only a man." Peter kept on talking to Cornelius as he went into the house, where he found many people gathered there. He said to them, "You yourselves know very well that a Jew is not allowed by his religion to visit or associate with Gentiles. But God has shown me that I must not consider any person ritually unclean or defiled. And so when you sent for me, I came without any objection. I ask you then, why did you send for me?" Cornelius said, "It was about this time 3 days ago that I was praying in my house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Suddenly, a man dressed in shining clothes stood in front of me and said, 'Cornelius, God has heard your prayer and has taken notice of your works of charity. Send someone to Joppa for a man whose full name is Simon Peter. He is a guest in the house of Simon, the leather worker, who lives by the sea.' And so I sent for you at once, and you have been good enough to come. Now we are all here in the presence of God, waiting to hear anything that the Lord has instructed you to say." Peter began to speak. "I now realize that it is true that God treats everyone on the same basis. Whoever worships Him and does what is right is acceptable to Him, no matter what race he belongs to." The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. The second reading, a reading from the letter to the Hebrews. In these last days, God has spoken to us through His Son. He is the one through whom God created the universe, the one whom God has chosen to possess all things at the end. He reflects the brightness of God's glory and is the exact likeness of God's own being, sustaining the universe with His powerful word. After achieving forgiveness for the sins of mankind, He sat down in heaven at the right-hand side of God, the supreme power. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from the Gospel according to John. One of the 12 disciples, Thomas, called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." Thomas said to them, "Unless I see the scars of the nails in his hands, and put my finger on those scars, and my hand in his side, I will not believe." A week later, the disciples were together again, indoors, and Thomas was with them. The doors were locked, but Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and look at my hands. Then stretch out your hand and put it in my side. Stop your doubting and believe." Thomas answered him, my Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Do you believe because you see me? How happy are those who believe without seeing me." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise be to you, O Lord Jesus Christ.